Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's live stream where we are going to be talking and going through how to get your first sale here on Moteefe. Hi, Thomas. How are you?
Hello, Aidan. Hello, everybody out there in internet land. Yes, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about this week. How to get your first print-on-demand sale on Moteefe.
So, I suppose I'll start with question one. What is Moteefe and why should I be getting a sale on it?
Okay, well, that's a great place to start, Aidan. So, Moteefe is a print-on-demand platform where you can upload artwork, and that artwork can then be you take the artwork, you put it onto various different products. We've got apparel, we've got canvases, cushions, jewelry, a whole range of posters, all sorts of products. Then with that, what we call a campaign, that creates a campaign. You can then drive traffic to that campaign, either organically through a page that you control, or a blog, or something like this, some asset that you're already in control of. And then or you can run paid advertising. A lot of people like to run Facebook advertising, which we'll touch on later on. And if somebody orders that product, you get the as we call the seller, the person that uploaded the artwork, you get a cut, a very substantial cut of the profits, which are very generous on Moteefe. And really what this gives you is the freedom and flexibility to do all of this without any upfront costs whatsoever. So this is where Moteefe is very different to some other competitors or other platforms, such as something like a Shopify model, where you have to pay for a single store, you're paying them every month, you pay per transaction, you have to build your own website, you have to do all of this work, all of this prep, all of this stuff just to get a product live. So if you're already selling, you can jump onto Moteefe. Within 5 minutes, you've got a campaign ready to go, a product page, a product landing page ready to go that people can buy from. Super fast, super easy, no barrier to entry. So this really sets Moteefe apart. Plus, if you want to go a step beyond that, you can, with your own domain name, you can have a custom domain store on Moteefe. And the advantages of that are it's still free, no cost to you, other than, okay, you have to buy a domain name, but we're talking hardly anything at all for this. You don't have to pay for your own hosting. You don't have to do any of that. You just associate the domain with Moteefe. You run the traffic either organically or through paid advertising to that store, or to a campaign within that store, to a product page within that store. And if somebody buys, you get access to that buyer's email address for email remarketing. So you can really, for absolutely the lowest possible barrier of entry whatsoever. So we're either talking here a design, or a design and a custom domain, a domain that you've bought. You can be driving traffic to an asset that you control, where you own the buyer relationship, which is really something that I think sets Moteefe apart. Plus, on top of all of that, we don't just have one location that we fulfill in. So if you've got a buyer in the United States or the United Kingdom or the EU, wherever they order from, it's going to come to them. It's going to be produced on demand, close to them, so that it isn't being shipped from the US to the EU. If they order in the EU, it's produced in the EU, as close to them as possible, from multiple different production facilities. In the UK, the same. It comes from within the UK, so it doesn't have to cross the channel. So don't worry about any of this Brexit talk that is so popular these days. If it's in the US, the same happens. Canada, I think Moteefe are now pushing into localized production in Canada. So that really defines the modeling of the offering.
Yeah, and I suppose, as you mentioned, Shopify, I suppose one of the main drawbacks there, all these drop shippers, they're all sending stuff over from China, right? So the customer's got to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks for it to get there. Whereas if it's getting made within that company of where the customer's bought, the delivery time and the cost for shipping is going to be much, much less as well.
Yeah, well, the other thing about the drop shipping model is that you're relying on it coming in from somewhere else. You're waiting for it. A lot of times, if it's coming from the Far East, then So let's just talk about Christmas. Christmas is coming, as people have noticed. Christmas is upon us. It's Q4. The beginning of Q4 is today. This is likely to be the biggest Q4 that there's ever been digitally. Well, ever, I think, because everything always keeps on growing.
Yep.
And Christmas, one day of selling at Christmas can be equal to some sellers whole months at other times of the year. It really can be. If you get something that's winning at Christmas, it can be absolutely massive. So if we just look at Christmas, if your product's coming in from China, you've got maybe the end of November or the beginning of December. That's the last day that you're going to be able to tell your customers that you're going to be able to get the product to them, because it's got to come all of that distance. Even with some of the other suppliers out there that are producing just in one single location and then shipping maybe, from the States, from the United States into Europe, again, your shipping cutoff dates for these orders is going to be much, much closer to the beginning of December or the end of November than with Moteefe. We push things right up to the wire. So, okay, we haven't announced our shipping dates for this year, but I know that last year we were right into the teens of December, the late teens, the sort of 15th, something around, maybe even further on than that for some products in some regions, guaranteeing a Christmas delivery. So when you consider that 1 or 2 days can really be a huge influx of sales, and you don't want to have to tell people, oh, I'm sorry, it's coming from China. So the combination of all of these things, plus Moteefe handle all of the customer support and all of this stuff for your buyers. So this really does make a huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, the window of opportunity, just those few more days extra than, well, potentially weeks extra if you're shipping things over from the east. I mean, it's crunch time, right? It's what people wait for all year when it comes to e-commerce. So
it's crunch time. It's go time. Yeah, it's crunch time. It's go time. Now is the time. So it really is from now until Christmas with Moteefe. A few days before is going to be the cutoff date, but we're not talking a long time here. A few days before Christmas, especially with Christmas falling the way that it does this year, we're going to take it right to the wire. So that's the broad overview of what we're offering. Plus, on top of that, I have to point out, just before you move on, there is a huge contest going on at Moteefe at the moment called the Winter Contest.
Oh, yes.
And the top prize in this contest is $150,000. So if you were to sell 100,000 units on Moteefe between now and the 31st of December this year, you would receive $150,000 bonus or prize, or however you want to break it down, call it. So, okay, now you're thinking, oh, but that's 100,000 units. Well, we had a very similar competition that was running for a shorter period of time in spring, and two sellers hit that top prize. So it is possible, it is doable, and there's lots of incremental levels on the way up as well. So if you're just starting out and you're thinking, oh, 100,000, that's crazy talk. If you sell 5,000 units, 1,000 units, 10,000 units, whatever you're going to hit, there's a level there for everybody. So the combination of all this really means that now's the time to really go for it.
That's definitely it. So step one, what is Moteefe? We've discussed that, so we'll sort of move on to next. So the main reason why it's on Moteefe is you get a sale, you get profit. Simple as that. So step two, what should you be selling? Or what should be the best place to start?
Well, this is the thing. What now? So you want to get into print on demand. You're just starting out. You're thinking, okay, this looks like something that I can do. But what am I going to sell, and who am I going to sell to, and where are they? Who are they? What am I going to do? So it's niche marketing. This is what works well. So what's a niche? A niche is an interest, really, something that people are passionate about works best. But anything is a niche. So you've got broad things, and then you've got niche things. So broad, come back to this again. Cooking isn't really a niche, but being a chef is a niche. Cooking bread may be a niche. Preparing sushi is a niche, or consuming sushi is a niche. There's certain type of noodles that are very popular. So that's where you start to see these niches come out. The sort of thing that somebody would talk to you about. We've all know people that are passionate about something, that want to talk about that one thing time and time and time again. They could be bikers, they could be fishermen, they could be nurses, they could be doctors, they could be radiographers. All of these people are targetable. Teachers are super passionate. Maybe you might try chess players or people that go skiing. All of these things are niches. So if you're just starting out, what do? If you're passionate about something yourself, and you've got it's not just that passion that you'll be leveraging here, it's your knowledge of that subject. So for instance, if I was to sell something about ballet is a niche. I know very little about ballet, it has to be said. I know that comes as a shock to everybody out there in internet land, but I'm not an expert on ballet. Yes, I know the names of the Nutcracker Suite, and there's a few ballet moves. I'm not.
You know more than me.
It's not completely foreign to me, but I'm not an expert. So I would have to do some research into ballet. Now, if that could be fine, I can do that. But if you are already into ballet, you already are a dancer, or you've got a partner or a child that dances, or you just like watching ballet, then you've got a big advantage over me going in, because you'll be able to get the terminology right. You won't get your leggings mixed up with your with your ballet shoes or whatever. You have the correct terminology for all of this stuff, as I obviously do not have. So if you're passionate about something yourself, or you have a deep knowledge of something, that could be programming computers, that could be architecture. You might be an architect, so you might be able to put the perfect phrase on the t-shirt that other architects are going to see and say, you know what, that's so perfect for me. I want to buy that, and I'm going to walk around with it. So the way to think about this is, a biker looks like, not all of them, obviously, no generalizations here, but the sort of person that rides a certain kind of motorbike, like, I think we can all picture them in our minds. They've got long hair. They've maybe got a few tattoos. They've probably got a bit of leather on. They're probably wearing some kind of a t-shirt. They might have a few battle scars from coming off the bike. They may have a bandana. This is the kind of thing. But there's no uniform for being I was going to say policeman, which is ridiculous, because of course they do have a uniform, but there's no uniform for having for being a fisherman, unless you're actually fishing, where you're wearing like fishing gear. But if you walk into a pub and you haven't got on, like, you're not dressed like a fisherman, so you could dress like a fisherman, but just a t-shirt that shows off that you love fishing, that you can wear when you're not in the full regalia, you're not absolutely resplendent as a fisherman, then that's the kind of thing. If you have a cat, there's no uniform for having a cat or owning a dog. But if you wanted to show off how much you love your pet of any description, then that's the sort of thing that people are going to buy, because it's also, a lot of this stuff is bought as gifts. So Aidan, it has a pet dog named I believe Marco.
I would refer to him as a son, but yeah, you're right.
Aidan has a son who's also a canine.
Yes, I'm
called Marco. I don't know if he has a surname yet, but maybe he'll acquire one later. But Aidan's very fond of the canine. So it's a breed. The dogs are broken up into breeds. So now we talk about niching down. So if you want to, dogs is quite wide. Maybe you'll sell some stuff to dog owners in general that's got general dog owning quotes on it, like, I'm wearing this because my dog ate my other t-shirt, or something along these lines could be funny enough to get some reaction. But it's part of a breed. So you've got dogs at the top, and then you've got to niche down, as they say, to narrow the niche down would be the breed. And the breed of your dog is
a Boston Terrier.
A Boston Terrier. A Boston Terrier. There we are. So Boston Terriers are a sub niche within the larger niche of dogs, which is also within the larger niche of pet ownership.
Yes.
So you've got pets at the top, which is the main niche. Then you've got dogs, and then you've got Boston Terriers.
Boston Terriers, yes.
So
And it's a beautiful breed, and it's there are some people that I've seen running some really good stuff for Boston Terriers, and it's also, if someone likes as well, maybe I'm going a bit too far forward in terms, but if someone likes Boston Terriers, then you know, if you're targeting them on Facebook, you wouldn't like that breed unless you knew something, had one, or had some reason to be interested in that breed. You know, it's like, for example, Thomas said he's seen pictures of my dog, but he couldn't tell me what breed it is. So if you're targeting people who know what that breed is, they're more than likely going to be the right people that you should be focusing on, if that makes sense, guys.
yeah, absolutely, and it would be the same with any terminology around a sport as well. So you've got certain things that only those people are going to know, like a line out in the game of rugby union.
Yeah.
If you don't know anything about it, then that won't mean anything to you if you've never heard it before. So whatever you choose, you have to become knowledgeable enough within that to start to be able to develop ideas. That's the beginning.
The one thing I want to mention here, though, is because I get a lot of people saying, Aidan, I don't know what niche to look into, or I don't know enough about X, Y, and Z. There's a thing on the internet called Wikipedia. Use it. It's all the information you could ever want to know about a certain thing is on the internet. You just need to go on Google and search it. And
Yeah,
honestly, just do it. And you've got to start somewhere. Okay, you won't have the in-depth knowledge of someone who's in that particular field, vocation, you know, whatever. But if someone else isn't running that niche, or they don't have as good a design as you, you're going to get as many units, or if not more than them anyway. So just go on Wikipedia.
Absolutely, and there's another thing here. There are some things you really want to look for, something where probably there's been some sales before. You don't really want to forge new ground from the beginning. Now, maybe after you've been selling POD products for a little while and you're profitable, and you might want to try something off the wall, but in general, you should be selling into a niche that's already a proven moneymaker. So if you Google's a search engine, you Google things, you type in a search term, you type in funny, and it's funny basketball player shirts, funny Boston Terrier shirts, funny dog owner shirts, that kind of thing, and see what comes up. If a load of stuff comes up, it's likely that's something that's that's a niche. If you type in funny headset t-shirts and nothing comes up, probably wearing a headset isn't a good niche and profitable. Yeah, wearing like ironed shirt, funny ironed shirts niche, or funny white shirt niche, funny white shirt t-shirt, that nothing's going to come up. That's not a niche. So you got to try and narrow it down, because I do see some people trying to run into niches that are very tiny, or tiny is okay, but if no one's ever done it before, that aren't really niches. So that's what you need. And then, okay, you make a decision. I'm going to try. And I would say, when you're first starting out, don't just limit yourself to one thing. Pick 3 things that are possible. So if you're going to pick, say, skiing, right? Don't then also pick something that's incredibly close to skiing, like snowboarding. All pick right. Something that you can translate designs across from, but isn't exactly the same, because you're going to be targeting almost the same people. And if your targeting's off, you're not gonna be able to make an impact. So you'd pick something like skiing, and then you'd pick something. Well, what's
painting?
What's the opposite of skiing? Scuba diving.
Yeah, on the mountain, under the mountain, in a way.
Yeah, up and down. So something like that. Yes, you could pick. Then you could pick a completely different thing that isn't a sporting activity, like owning a Boston Terrier, painting, oil painting. So painting, there you are. Painting is a niche, but oil painting is a sub niche. So that would be niching down. Yeah. Watercolors is a sub niche. That would be. Now, I'm not sure how big these are, but these are that's how you would niche down. So I would pick 3 things that are possibilities. Then you Google. You need to find inspiration. We don't steal, but we find inspiration from what other people are doing. So again, you Google funny something shirts, funny. So for scuba diving, you might Google funny sailing shirts. It's to do with the water. Maybe some of the terminology crosses over. You look at those shirts and you think, I could take the idea. So all I want for Christmas is a Force 9 gale. Probably they don't want that, but that could be what they've got. And then you say,
Force 9 gale, that's strong wind. Just got it.
That's the wind.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Just
they probably don't want that. All I want for Christmas is a tailwind. I'm not even sure what these things are called. Sails. My sails filled with sea air. I don't know. Whatever. But you take that idea and then you'd say, right, well, if that's what they wanted for Christmas and that's selling in that niche, more, it looks like it's made some sales in that niche. What would a scuba diver want for Christmas? Yeah, and not just all I want for Christmas is like
a full oxygen tank,
a wetsuit. Yeah, it would be something like all I want for Christmas is a nitrous tank, because they take nitrogen down with them when they go to depth. Boyle's law, you can study it. It's all about pressure and compression and the bends. Anyway, this isn't a live stream. This isn't a live stream about scuba diving, but that's the kind of thing. So there must be a scuba diving thing that would relate to that. Then you take it over to the Boston Terrier. All I want for Christmas is another Boston Terrier. All I want for Christmas is something to do with the dog, to go walkies, for I don't know, my Boston Terrier to stop eating my ugly Christmas sweatshirts. I don't know, whatever you're going to do. So you take the idea and you try and switch it up into the niche. So at this time of year, you should, for each one of the niches, you should create one ugly Christmas sweater design for each one. The idea doesn't have to be the same it doesn't have to be the same concept. You should have at least one. Then you should have at least one product for children. Children's products are huge, very underrated. Underrated. A lot of people sell to children, so that there's the children don't buy. Hey, the parents buy. So you want to target the parents, but if it was say if Aidan had a child other than the dog, like a Homo sapien child, if he had a human child, then he could get the child a T-shirt that said something along the lines of Daddy's second favorite child, which would be funny because the other one would be a dog.
Yeah. Well, my brother, my other brother has, and then you could do illustration of dog or is. Okay. Yeah.
So, and then the money from that you can save up for the therapy sessions for the child later. But that's the kind of thing that you could do. So if you've got your main niche, so I'll come back to skiing. A lot of people take their children skiing with them. So you could have, if you're selling a skiing T-shirt, then you'd have the child's one at Moteefe. We allow you to, or you're able to, have another product shown within the cart as what we call an upsell with a discount. So you have the main product, which would be a skiing T-shirt or a skiing ugly Christmas sweater, which could look really good. I'm thinking of designs now. You could get some really nice stuff on there. And then the upsell within that campaign, you also select a children's version of the same thing and put that in there. And then the people that have got kids, they'll buy the same thing for the child. So that's the beginning. That's the beginning of where you should be. So ugly Christmas sweater, normal design, and then children's product. Children and babies products within there as well. So you really must include that. Think about all of those stores, children's toys, children's everything. Who's going to buy? What do I get for Christmas? I get a pair of socks and a knowing look. That's what I get. But when I was a child, I used to have vast quantities of things that I had aunts coming out of the woodwork offering all sorts of encouragement and gifts.
Like everyone knows it. Christmas is for kids. Just to sort of regroup, Thomas. So, and I will do some call outs on some comments for all you guys. Pop in some good questions, some bad questions, and some ugly questions. Looking at you there,
some ugly Christmas questions.
So so number one, what is Moteefe? Why Moteefe? Right, we've gone and done that. 2, what should you be selling? Who should you be selling to? We've covered that. Next, we're about to cover what do you need to start selling. Okay. Before we do, Anwar, hello. Bram, hello. Bram asked a very good
Anwar,
question,
Bram.
asking, is Marco short for Makazo? No, but that could be, it could be the surname. I like what you did there, Bram.
So to those
And
who don't know, Moteefe actually have a sister store or sister site selling only into Brazil. Everything's produced within Brazil and printed within Brazil. So the shirts themselves, the products themselves are actually produced within Brazil. It's Christmas in Brazil as well. Big news. So that site, Makazo.com, Brazil only, solely focused on Brazil. Big opportunities, super low CPMs, very quickly. Only run to your campaigns to the big cities because that's where all the buyers are. Brazil. They speak Brazilian Portuguese in Brazil, so don't overlook that fact.
yes, definitely don't overlook that. And also, the thing to mention there is Brazil. The population is enormous. It's
Yeah,
very, very big.
yeah,
There's plenty of buyers out there, and not many companies are distributing or doing print on demand there. So it's definitely a big untapped opportunity.
yep.
Yeah, message me on Facebook if you've got any more questions about that. Which leads me on to my next question. Lamine has asked, do you know people who are having great results on Makazo using paid traffic? Yes, I
Yes,
do. And
yes.
people are doing very, very well. And okay, people are going to ask, or they're thinking, how many? And over hundreds per week, right? Quite a lot. And these aren't, I'm not talking about one or two, I'm talking multitudes of sellers. Many sellers are doing it at that level, at that country on Makazo.
So what do you
Yeah.
need? What should you be doing to succeed on in Brazil on Makazo through Moteefe? It's simple. It's super low competition, so it's a less developed market than other places. You've got a bit of a language barrier, so the best, unless you speak Portuguese or Brazilian Portuguese, then fair play, you can crack on in the normal fashion. But what you should do is look for the best selling designs that have existed in print on demand over the last sort of 8, 9, 10 years and modify them, improve them, change them and update them for the Brazilian market. So people are people, things that have sold tens of thousands of units in other places will, with the right reimagination, do very well in Brazil. So I would say don't start off by trying to write the perfect Portuguese phrase. Try and take a concept of something that's you know to be a huge winner, and then twist, manipulate, and improve it for Makazo and Brazil.
Yeah, no, good answer. We have another question. I'll go first, then we'll put it to you. What do you think about selling mugs in Christmas? If it sells, why not? But Christmas sweatshirts are better. What do you think, Thomas?
Mugs are another great item to put on as the upsell with a 10% discount. Also, we have within the cart. So once a potential buyer, adds a product to the cart, we have a way that you can show other products within the cart through a system of tagging. You have what we call campaigns, which are collections of products with the same design. You have these campaigns. You can select and tag these campaigns under a name. So you create a name. So for Aidan, it would be Boston Terriers. You put 3 campaigns under that, and then the main product from one of those other campaigns could be a mug that related to the original niche. So you can have it as sort of like a cross sell within the cart where people can add that as well as buying the original design. I would say that what you want to do here is white label stores, because then you get access to your buyers' email addresses. So you can download your buyer email addresses, and then you can attach these email addresses into a mailing list, create a mailing list, and then email your buyers to buy more. So they bought a shirt. Now, maybe you think, the best thing, maybe they don't want another shirt straight away. What's the best thing to send in an email? A mug, a wall canvas, or a mug, a wall canvas, and an ugly Christmas sweater. And you can email these people time and time again to get them to buy more. So You can run mugs as your first, as the first, like for buyer acquisition. I would say that that does work sometimes and can be very successful. But I would recommend to use it in the cross sell, use it as an upsell with a discount, 10% discount, all within the cart. All of this is on Moteefe as a feature that you just turn on. And then once you've got the buyer email addresses, bang, then you've got the ability to remarket, and then you can hit them hard with mugs and all this stuff. And believe me, over Christmas, the week before Christmas, if you're selling now, you sell 100 units this week, 200 units this week, 300 units this week. We've got, what, 10 weeks or something until, is it that short really? Yes, something like only 10 weeks to Christmas. It really is here. Then you've got, you know, 100 buyers a week for 10 weeks, 1,000. You've got 1,000 buyers. Now you've got 1,000 proven buyers on your email list. And over Christmas, you can be hammering them. 12 days of Christmas is my email strategy. This is my secret sauce. It's not just ketchup. This really is secret sauce. Over Christmas, you email these people and you say, it's Christmas. The first email, it's Christmas. Then like a little explanation of what you're going to do. Like it's the 12 days of Christmas. And then for the next 12 days, you like day 1, day 2, and you've got all of these products that you're firing at them. And the people that are engaged, because it's like 12 days of Christmas, they're looking for that in their email box. They're searching through like, what's tomorrow? And you write fun emails. Don't write marketing emails. Write emails that people want to actually open. Write nice little fun stories. Talk about, I'm sure that everybody knows what Christmas is, but maybe you don't know of the Roman Christmas, where it all comes from, Saturnalius, which was where it started off as one day a year where all of the normal Roman traditions went. So slaves weren't slaves, and people could dress in finery that they weren't normally allowed to wear, and all of the normal social taboos were gone. And it by the sort of 1st century AD, this had lasted a whole week, and this is the beginning of Christmas. This is where Christmas comes from. You start to tell people, not everybody's going to be interested in Saturnalius, but in each one, if you include a little Christmas fact, maybe one about Father Christmas being St. Nick, or different things, or Krampus, or all of these little fun Christmas elements that you can drop in that make people want to open your emails. And this works across all niches. And if you're selling into Germany, which you should also be doing, you should be getting this stuff translated and have a different store for all of these different buyers. You can translate that sort of super easy, just quick translations with some of these online services. You should be getting your shirts done, and then you can have some really successful, engaging emails that people actually want to open up. And what will they be talking about? Hang on, I can't stop myself. But what will they be talking about at Christmas? At Christmas, people are going to be gathered together, maybe in a limited way this year, unfortunately. You know, it's 2020, current year, not a great year. Maybe next current year will be a better year, but normally people gather together, at least online, or they'll be having Zoom calls or some kind of family interactions. They're going to be talking about this. They're going to be showing off. They're going to be saying, I know what Saturnalius is. Do you know where Christmas originated, and all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to be bragging about. And I think I always like those emails as well, where they do a funny spin. Instead of saying, here's a product, check it out here, they put something like, our elves have been very busy designing this t-shirt, check out their work here. Stuff like that. It is more fun, and it's definitely something you'd click the next one on your countdown, your 12 days. One really good question, and then we will move on to the what you need to start selling. So Diptanu has asked, what is the biggest selling month over October, November, December? These 3 months.
Go on. These 3 months. These three wise months.
These 3 wise months. They are all the best selling months. But if you were to put a peak on it, which I wouldn't like to, but if you were to put a peak on it, it's mid-November to mid-December is the highest point. But over these 3 months, it goes crazy. So it's really not about aiming for just that peak. You want to be selling literally from today.
This is the beauty of print on demand. If you hit the right thing at the right time at any point in the year, you can do incredibly well.
Yeah.
I've had better Januarys sometimes than I have Decembers, and I've had some great Decembers just because I've hit the right Christmas. Well, Christmas, I say that, but it was an ugly an ugly Christmas sweater, but didn't mention anything to do with Christmas on it. Selling in January. It's colder in January. It's cold outside, and people just loved it, and they were buying it, and they just, so any day, any campaign that you launch POD can be the biggest thing at any time in the year. What I would say is now is the easiest time to get started. If you haven't got any experience, you're more likely to get into the market, to get used to what sells. It's the perfect time to begin. But as experienced sellers know, yes, obviously buying intent is more. You can super scale and really get some crazy numbers at this time of the year. But to be honest with you, if you hit the right thing at the right time, Mother's Day is huge. There are lots of events all the way through the year, and if you can ride a huge wave at any point. So the stuff that was selling at Mother's Day that says Happy Mother's Day, that's not going to work at Christmas. So it's still got to be related. But it is going to be crazy, certainly, and crazier again by the end of November, beginning of December.
Oh yes, right. So here comes the question, Thomas. What do I need to get selling? What apps? What things do I need set up? What needs to happen? What do I need?
Okay, so if you've got existing assets yourself, if you've got a Facebook page, if you've got a large Instagram account, if you've got a blog, if you've got a mailing list, if you've got any of these things where you can reach people organically without paying money, great. Use that. That's what you need. For the most part, what we're talking about here, if you really want to ride the wave up and scale hard, is Facebook. So you're going to need a Facebook account. Most people already have them, I'm sure. Then you're going to need a Facebook Business Manager account, which is the way that you manage your advertising accounts within your ad accounts within Facebook. It always is changing how you set these things up. If I talk you through it now, in 3 months' time, it's going to be a slightly different setup. There's loads of tutorial videos out there that show you how to open this stuff. It would be superfluous of me to go through it. Just get it done. Then you need a Facebook page. You can have as many Facebook pages as you want. I already said that you should have 3 niches this year to go for if you're new. If you're big and you're already there and you're thinking, oh, I don't need to know this, why aren't you trying 3 new niches? Why aren't you trying 6 new niches? You've got a lot of room here. Maybe that one hits and you just need that one sweet design, that one that really hits home. And the more you spread yourself out, you don't want to spread yourself too thin. We'll come to that in a moment. But you want to try things, and having these assets, a Facebook account, you must have a Facebook advertising account, a Facebook page you'll need to create. That's it. Now you need what Moteefe gives you, which is a store, either a white label store or a store on Moteefe. No cost. You need a product landing page, no cost. You need a way of getting the money out. Moteefe's got super fast payouts, and crazy fast. These payouts are so quick. So you've got that money coming back. You haven't got any worries about that. You're going to need you'll need a bank account or a PayPal account or a Payoneer account, one of these, so that you can receive the money and pay for your ads. Easy. So once you've got these together, then you're going to need an advert. So you're going to make an advert. What are you going to do? You're going to make an advert? Okay, right. Make an advert. You make a square advert, 1200 by 1200, pixels wide, pixels tall, same. You have a shirt. You don't need a person in it. You just need the shirt. Facebook have just removed the 20% text rule. It used to be that if you had more than 20% of your advert, of your product image, of your advert image that was text, Facebook would flag it and say, hey, that's too much text. That's no good. We're gonna flag this up. You're gonna have to. Oh, it was a nightmare. We still got around it because this is what we do. But they've got rid of all of this. So you zoom in, you fill that square with the shirt. Bang, get the message in there. You know what the biggest difference between a shirt that sells and the shirt that doesn't sell? Okay, you've got good and bad designs, but if you've got the perfect phrase on that shirt, people have got to be able to read it. And they haven't just got to be able to read it when you've got it open on your 27-inch monitor in front of you and you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, I can read it. No, they've got to be able to read it when they're scrolling through their Facebook newsfeed at the speed of an F-15 fighter at 3,000 miles an hour at Mach 2.5. where they're really going for it. It's got to stand out. You've got half a millisecond for them to recognize it, and so zoom in for the win. Fill that up, and then the background. What do you show behind the shirt? Something relevant to the niche. So let's say you're selling a shirt about baked beans. What do you put behind it? Baked beans. You're selling a shirt about chess. What do you put behind it? A chess piece. You're selling a shirt about fishing. What do you put behind it? Skiing? No, you don't put a mountain. Yeah, you put a lake. You put a lake. You put somebody fishing. You put a nice little wilderness scene with a bit of water where people are like, ah, I know what that's about from the background. If it's a baby, what do you put behind it? Maybe a baby crib, maybe some like baby toys, maybe that kind of thing, a baby's room. That's what you put behind it. That's the background, easy. Or you can go with a bright, solid background that just catches people's eyes. You can try that stuff as well. But I like to do that. I like to zoom in. I don't need any people in my advert. I don't need a demonstration video. I don't need a 3-minute explanation video of oh, this is a t-shirt and this is the hole you put your head in, and like this is how you wash a t-shirt and take it on. No, we don't need any of that. Everyone knows what a t-shirt is. That's the beauty of t-shirts. One of the beauties of t-shirts is because everybody can wear a t-shirt. Everyone knows what a t-shirt is, and there's hardly anybody out there that would say, oh, a t-shirt, I would never wear a t-shirt. So, or a sweatshirt, or hoodies. Maybe it's little bit younger. I don't know if like my grandmother would wear a hoodie, probably not. But there's a product within that for everybody. Yeah. Whether that's a hoodie, a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, everyone knows how to put this stuff on. So that's what you need. Then you need a little bit. You need the link. Okay, so you need to put the link that takes the people to the page on Moteefe where they're going to buy. So you put the link in and add text. You've got to have some advertising copy. You've got to write the best advertising copy that's ever. No. The most important thing is that they can see the link.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. Order here and then the link is more effective than 90% of the stuff that I see. If you're going to do anything at Christmas or any time for advertising, the top line, you get 2 lines. Don't put a space because then you'll lose the link on the third line. The top line is something like, this made me laugh so much. What you do not do, is ask for people to like, comment, or share. That is completely banned from Facebook. They don't like it. They don't want it. They said this years ago, but the point must be made. Don't put this down. Don't put the like, comment, or share, or we all used to put comment hell yeah if you want one of these. No, you're not doing that anymore. You don't need to do that anymore, and you can't do it anyway, so why worry about it? Oh, but it would be better. Yeah, maybe it would be, but we can't do it, so don't do it. So something like, I love this, or I can't stop laughing, or this is fantastic, or I love this. Also, don't ask a question. Don't ask any questions. Facebook are funny about questions. Some questions are okay. Some questions are not okay. If some questions are okay and some are not okay, don't ask questions. You don't need to ask questions. If it's a Father's Day thing, or a Mother's Day thing, or a present for a mother or a father, you put in, my father loves this. My mother loves this. My dad loves this. My mum loves this. My MOM loves this if you're an American. So, or my nan loves this, or my daughter loved this, or my son loved this, or my kids thought this was amazing. That might be too long, actually, thought this was amazing. But check this, get the link there. That's the most important thing. You don't have to write some great paragraph of explanation. Don't do it. It's the product image and the availability of the link. Bang.
That's it. Simple. So I suppose that moves us on to potentially a little dabble into Facebook ads, maybe. We've got time.
Aidan will be handling this section on Facebook.
Any questions, guys, please keep them rolling in, and we'll get around to them as and when we can. I feel just to clarify there what Thomas mentioned about the 2 lines. As soon as you do 1 line of text, the 2nd line of text, and then the 3rd line of text, it then creates a see more. So if you put your link on that see more line, when you then hit go on your ad, the ad's just going to have, oh, my such and such loved this, order here, see more. They have to click the see more to then click the link. It's going to completely trash your ad. So definitely. And don't just look at the preview. actually click and get it open, so you open it on your phone as a notification, because I've done it a few times where it looks fine on the preview, looks great,
Yeah.
best ad ever in the world, and then I press publish, and then I find out that it's actually on the see more line. But if I had sent the notification to my phone to check on the phone, I would have caught up on that and had been able to change and rectify it accordingly. So a little bit of a top tip for you there.
So let's what do you want to do, Aidan? Aidan's the master of ceremonies, the MC.
Yeah, all right. Well, I try and keep us on the road, right? So
where
emojis...
I would go without you, I'm scared. Okay,
Who
please.
knows? So would emojis be a problem to use? Would there be any rejection from Facebook?
One emoji is enough emoji for me. I like one emoji. I like a heart. I like a laugh out loud. The crying laugh out loud one. You don't need 3 emojis. Adds nothing more.
Yeah.
One emoji I've never had any problems with. One heart emoji, one laughing emoji, a fish emoji. Okay, some related emoji. Don't try and spell out some swear word with emoji, or use some emoji that's like some combination of emojis that commit some kind of terrible infringement on current year.
Yeah.
Don't do anything that that you shouldn't be doing with emojis. Just use your standard default, straight out the box, Simpson style, yellow emojis, no problem. Don't do anything weird with emojis. You don't need 30 emojis. A heart, it's just there to highlight the link so that their eyes drawn to the link. That's how I think about it. It doesn't matter what you say. It's just a little thing that people to draw their eye up from the amazing design that you've got with the beautiful readable text where you've zoomed right in and you've got a nice background that relates to the niche, just so that they look up and they see that little red heart or that little yellow face, and then crying, or the finger pointing at the link is maybe okay, but you don't need an emoji on each line. It's for nothing.
I think I was reading the Facebook sort of best practices on this, and they said an overuse of emojis, like literally, where they put say 6 on one side of a word and 6 on the other side, they actually don't like that, and they actually it could potentially get your ad rejected. So one all the way, one all the way. Go on emojipedia.com. That's where you can find a whole library of them if you do want something that's related to your niche, and it's not, you don't want to scroll through the whole thing.
Yeah, they're right there on Facebook when you're building the ad. There's a little thing at the side with just a little thing, so it does let you use them. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo anything. Less is more. It's about the design. Don't get in the way of the design. One little emoji, a little red heart, fine. Just draw their eye up.
Cool. I think we are okay for comments. I think that's the last one of questions we got, buddy.
Okay, next. You got everything in place. You made your little ad. You got your line of text. You got your one emoji, maybe 2, 1. You've got your link. Everyone can read it. You got your shirt. You got your design. You got everything ready. You got Moteefe in the background ready to take your orders and deal with your customer services. You got your white label store ready to go. So you get your buyer email addresses that you can remarket to. You got it all right. Now, what do? You're making an advert. Now, some people say you shouldn't use an engagement ad to test a design. I say I can test a design for $2 a day. Now, what am I looking for? So I'm making a post-page engagement ad, or an engagement ad, a PPE it was called. I don't know what it's called now, engagement ad, whatever. But this is the type of ad where you're telling Facebook to go out and get people to like, comment, and share on this. Remember, you're asking Facebook to do this. You're not asking people to do this by putting it on your ad. So don't do that. So you're asking Facebook to get people to engage with your ad. So let's take the Boston Terrier as an example. You've got the Boston Terrier as a niche. Target, either if it's in English, target the United States or the UK. They speak English, or Australia or New Zealand, up to you. But I would target the United States. I would select I would select the United States as a country. I would select the age range of 21 to 54 or 21 to 65 plus, whatever. It's only a test ad. All I want to know here is whether anybody in this audience cares at all about this design. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying to do anything. Yes, I know that people say you should just move straight onto a conversion ad and like run that at $40 a day, like 4 ad sets. Yeah, sure. If you've got money, then go for it. You can do it like that. But I like to test, and this is what I do. It cost me a couple of dollars. So if every advert I run, I've wasted a couple of dollars, then fine. But it definitely sometimes you can tell that we're not going any further than this. So especially when you're new, you can test for $1 or $2 a day, I'd say is the minimum. Go in United States, 21 or 24 to 54. That's the kind of age range that gives you basically the buyers. Once you get above 54, it gets a bit more expensive. So again, we're not looking for buyers, but the buyers are going to be in this range. Select the interest. I'm sure it's in there, Boston Terrier, right? Scroll down, get down to the placements, turn off everything other than Facebook newsfeed on mobile. So first thing is you've got a little thing that says devices. You hit edit. You click on desktop. That removes desktop, so only the mobile's selected. And you've got all these placements. You got them placed, I don't know, on the side of a bus, in a shoebox underneath the stairs. I don't know, all these crazy placements. Marketplace, search, Instagram, I don't know, stories. Oh, no, you don't want any of this. You want Facebook mobile newsfeed only. That's it for testing, right? If later on when you've got something that's selling, you can test all of these other unique audience networks where it's shown. I don't even know where it's shown, but for this purpose, you do that. Then you got your ad already set up. You can make that as a post on the page. You just select that $1, $2 a day, bang, go. Right. Let it run for a few hours. You should always start your adverts at midnight, right? At the midnight of the next morning. So midnight for those out there is 12 a.m. if you're set up on a non-24-hour clock, or 0-100 hours. Okay, 12 a.m. 0-100 hours next day. Let it run throughout the day. Go back, check. If you've got a lot of likes, a lot of comments, or a few comments, if you're only running at $2, you want to look for likes, comments, and shares. That's the kind of stuff that's going to sell. If it's just got a couple of likes and no comments and no shares, once each niche is different as well. So some niches people can't stop clicking, like, comment, and share. Other niches are very reserved. The United Kingdom tends to click, like, comment, and share a lot less than the United States, maybe because that's the algorithm that there's more people in the United States online, so it's easier for Facebook to find those people that are going to engage. Or maybe it's that British people are slightly more reserved than Americans, and they don't like to like things as much as Americans like to like things. Who knows? Doesn't matter why. It's just the case. So each niche and each location are going to have its own numbers, which is why, even though I sell mostly into the United Kingdom and into Europe, I often test in the United States, even though I'm probably not going to spend most of my advertising budget there, because I just want to see if the design's any good. Sometimes I'll test in the UK. As long as I know what my baseline numbers are there for something that looks good or not, that's fine. So now I've got something, it's got a few likes, it's got a few comments, it's got a few shares, the comments are positive. It's like, hey, you've got to check this out, or I need this, or whatever, something like that, rather than a comment that just says this is possibly the worst thing that I've ever seen, or that isn't a pair of skis. That isn't a Boston Terrier. That kind of thing. So if you've got all of that in place, then you move over to conversion ads. Now you can do this. There's 1,000 ways of doing it, and I'm not saying that my way is the best way or anyone else's way doesn't work. It's completely up to you. You can go out and you can find a guru. Some of them paid, some of them unpaid. I'm not a guru. I'm just a guy. So maybe I'll put that on a t-shirt. I'm not a guru. I'm just a guy. That might sell, at least to me. There you go. So I like to do either $5 or $10 ad sets to start with. I like to select a single niche, a single interest for each one of those for those ads. So 4 ad sets or 5 ad sets is what I'll set up the first day. I'll select the country that I want. So I like Europe, so I'll select the UK. I'll select, so we're still on the Boston Terrier thing. I'll hit Boston Terriers. Well, I won't hit a Boston Terrier, please. Sorry, I wouldn't do that, Aidan. Don't get alarmed. I'd select Boston Terriers. I'd select dog leashes. I'd select pet food, or dog food, sorry. I'd select like dog bowl or leash or super related to Boston Terriers. Now, I know that only the Boston Terrier is super focused on that, but I'm hoping that there's enough in those other ones that Facebook's going to be able to pick out the ones that are interested enough. And dog owners tend to move in packs. No, they don't. They know each other. So Aidan probably knows somebody else that owns another dog. So Aidan might say, if he saw a dog for like an advert for well, not for but targeting, I know. Labrador, then, and Aidan knew a Labrador owner, Aidan might then tag that person in. So I've got 4 related interests, maybe 5, and I'm going for either $5 a day or maybe $10 a day. Sometimes I'll even throw in $20 a day. Depends how confident I am on the design. These are all the same budget. So either 5 or 10 or 20. People have got all different ways of doing this. Some people say you should go much higher and turn them off earlier. We're talking about getting your first sale. So I'd recommend anywhere probably between $4 and $20, up to you. But keep all of them the same, whatever you're running. So it's either all 5, all 10, all 15, all 20, whatever. So I would say if you're starting out 5 or 10, right? Then you're using the same advert that you've already made. So they've all got the same ad attached to them. They're all going to be running traffic into the same advert, into the same creative. That's all fine. You start it at midnight, you let it run. The next day you go back in and check. What are you looking for? If you're spending $10 a day on an ad, that means you're spending $40 or $50 that day. So you're going to want to see across. So you come in after, I don't know, each ad set spent say $5 or $6, something like that. So you spend $5, $10, $15, $20, $25, $20, something like that. You're going to want to see at least a couple of add to carts across those ad sets. You're going to want to look at the cost per link click. If the cost per link, if you haven't had any link clicks at all in any of them, no, you have to turn it off, right? It's not going to work, not going to sell, not going to go. If you've got one link click on all of them after spending $6 each one, that's not going to work. You need to get your link click cost down to something around the £1, $1 mark, something like that. $1.50 can be okay. $2 probably not. $3 you're not doing that. Yeah. If you I see people send stuff to me like, what do you think of this? They spent $30, they got 10 link clicks and no add to carts. What do you think is going to happen? And they're saying to me, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Well, maybe it's the design. It's not, or the ad creative, zoom in for the win, show that so that they can read it. So you've got to start to get used to the numbers within your niche. So I think that when you're running you should be optimizing for purchase as well. I left that part out. Sorry, you should optimize these conversion ads for purchase, even if you haven't got any purchases on the account. I always find that better. Some people will tell you to run to add to cart. Try it, up to you. That's not what I do. Only telling you what I do. If somebody else is getting great success with add to cart and they're saying he doesn't know what he's talking about, fine, try that. Whatever. But I run to purchase only. I'm looking for link clicks around the $1 mark. The lower, the better. I'm looking for an add to cart cost of between $3, $6, $7 on the first day, something like that. I want it to stabilize around the $5 or under mark, right? Because you've got to think you're making, okay, the profits on Moteefe are great. You're making a lot when you're selling a t-shirt, but you've got to get 3 to 4 add to carts maybe to get one sale. There's something like that it normally works out as, okay, about 3 or 4 add to carts and about 2 initiate checkouts. So 50% of the time when they get to checkout, they normally buy. Sometimes it gets thrown out because some people would just add to cart, and some niches are a bit different. They just want to get to the end. I don't know. It's like they're playing a game, but on average, they were kind of the numbers. So your break even is going to be around the £5, $5 mark for an add to cart or under, and around the sort of I can't even think of the numbers off the top of my head, but like the $6 to $8 for an initiate checkout. In fact, I can't even think of the initiate checkout numbers because I solely focus on the add to cart numbers and the purchases. So I'm not even sure what they would be. So that's what you want. After a day, turn off the ones that are no good. If you've got a sale on something, obviously that's good. Don't turn it off. If you're getting those kind of numbers, and you just have to go through this, it's going to take time. It's going to take more than one designs. Don't blame anything other than the design. Now, you might go and find somebody that's telling you different advice than me, and it might start working for you. That's great. But I'm telling you that this does work. It might not be the ultra optimized thing that somebody else can find, but this does work. And therefore, if it's not working on something, it's not this advice, it's probably the design. So be prepared to walk away from the design and move to the next design. One design is not going to be enough for you to have success. You could have success on your first design, and I've seen it happen before with friends of mine back in the day that like their first design just went crazy and they were like, this is the easiest thing in the world. Then that design stopped selling and they moved to the second design and they're like, oh, hang on a minute, actually I might have to put in a little bit more effort than this, but not that much, because if you realize what you're at and it's a numbers game, you're testing. You want to find that big winner, that really engaged ad, that one that's going to go. Don't waste your time and get bogged down on stuff that's like mediocre. Maybe it'll go. You want to keep on going, bang, 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 until you get the one that's going to go. Then you understand what you're at. If you try and make every design into one that sells, or try and turn ones that are selling unprofitably, which does happen, into one that's profitable by trying to like, oh, maybe if I tweak this, and oh, maybe if I start it only on a Sunday morning at 11 o'clock and only target people, it's just too much work.
Prolonging the inevitable, really, aren't you?
Yeah, you're wasting your time. Time is money. You could have been spending your time worrying about the next design and getting those designs ready, rather than trying to find some like that. Believe me, there's no magic button in Facebook that's like that makes this. There's no magic setting that's going to turn something that isn't selling into something that's selling. So, do your own research, get out there, try other stuff. Don't waste money on stuff that won't sell. It's not there's no external factors here. It's 99.99% of the time, if something isn't selling, it's not your ad setup. It could be that your targeting's a bit off. So yeah, if you're targeting skiers, if you've got a skiing t-shirt and you're targeting only people that are interested in bagels, then yeah, maybe you're the problem there and you need to change the targeting. But in general, if you're targeting anything to do with skiing and with a skiing with a skiing design, you should be getting sales if the design is good enough, or change the design. Simple as that. That's the biggest mistake that people make, is thinking, it's this, it's that, or maybe it's because of that or this, or we hear it all, we see it all. It is the design.
Yeah, got a couple of questions. So Ahmed, hello. Ahmed has asked, do you do $5, $5 to $10 for each ad set to the whole campaign?
Yep, when I'm first starting out, yeah, per ad set, yeah. I just whatever I'm doing, I keep it the same for everything, because if I do like 2 at $5 and 2 at $10, then when I want to open it and check the results, it's going to throw off the numbers. So maybe all the time when I'm doing $10 ad sets, it's just going to confuse me. Why do I need to do this? I don't need to do this. If I want to spend more money, I'll just launch two more interests, or whatever. So none of this campaign budget optimization thing. That was an attempt by Facebook that I never thought was very successful, where you'd set an overall budget for the whole campaign. Again, there's people out there making massive success with that. Good luck to them. That's great. If you want to do some research on how that works and sets up, fine. I'm sure that it can be very profitable. But yeah, I just set 4 or 5 ad sets, same budget. It could be any budget, but I like to keep my spend down. I don't want to be just paying for Facebook's share price. I want to try and actually make money and not waste money at the beginning. So I just I put in. I've done even $2 a day before, like 5 or 8 ad sets with just a $2 a day budget. Now I would say that 5 or 10 is better, but you don't want to be spending more than $30 or $40 a day when you're just testing like that, no matter what. And that's more than enough to get a good impression of what's going on out there.
Yeah, and then just to recap on that, Ahmed, we were basically saying that the initial testing, yes, we would be doing it. Thomas is saying to do it on a PPE, an engagement ad, right? $2 or $3 per day, not the 5 or 10. And then if that proves successful, it's getting the comments, it's getting the shares, then you move it onto a conversion ad where you do the 5 or 10 budget on each ad. Okay?
Some people will test directly on the conversion ads with like 5 or even 10 conversion ads at like $20 or $30 an ad each one. So, for me, I feel like I don't want to do that. If other people, they like doing that. So I'm not saying that's wrong or I'm right or whatever. All I'm saying is I know that this has worked for me. I can only speak from personal experience. If you want to find a better system or have a look around the internet and see if you can find something else, that's great. But definitely don't waste money.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. So obviously, the less you spend, the less money you waste. I know that Facebook tell you that you need 50 conversions per ad set per week for it to optimize. And maybe that's true. Then my unoptimized ads have done quite very well. Thank you very much. And if you can get 50 conversions, 50 purchases an ad per ad set per week, you're going, what do you say? You're getting $6 conversions, $8 conversions, something like that. Well, you've got to spend quite a bit per day to be getting that in. So I think this is a fine way to start out. It's certainly enough to get into the market.
For sure. Is there any more comments or questions, guys? We've just gone over that hour mark, so we're more than keen to wrap up with a couple of questions.
Aidan's going to turn into a pumpkin.
I might do. It's nearly Halloween. That's what happens every year. Nothing yet. How about YouTube? Because we're now on YouTube now, as you know, Thomas.
Nobody told me this. When are we on YouTube? Are we bigger than T-Series yet, Aidan?
Nearly.
Yeah. How far short are we? What, 150 million short?
Yeah, probably maybe a bit more.
Bit more than 150 million short T-Series. That's not bad. Not bad. Second one. Okay.
Second one. Baby steps, I guess.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If you do have any questions, of course, me and Thomas are in the group. You can message me directly on Facebook. Let us know. Any questions, go from there. Get your design. Oh, here we go. And you're very, very welcome, Bar Mori. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. You're very welcome. We'll be here same time next week on Thursday. Yes. So Ahmed, you need to start with your engagement. Get your comments, get your shares. If you don't get your comments and you don't get any shares, next. Okay. And if you are getting your comments and you are getting your shares, then the next is straight into the conversion ads. Okay. And then you can use the existing post from your PPE as the conversion ad. Okay.
Yeah.
Infos for targets, engagement targeting. We'll cover that on the next one because it all depends on what your niche is and what you're going into. But look for things where only a passionate person would go to spend money. Do they buy the magazine? Just put it in there.
Even there, with engagement targeting, with any of this, if it's related to that niche in any way, then people should be engaging in it. Yeah, you can find a more optimized niche, but when you're first starting, target. But when you're first starting out, interest. I mean, when you're first starting out, you don't know the niche. So again, you don't want to be spending too much. Sure, if you've been selling in the niche for years, you're going to know which the best targets are within that niche. But when you're first starting out, it's all going to be a process. So you don't know whether, I don't know, Tiger Woods or if you're selling into golf, Tiger Woods or Ping golf clubs or tailor-made golf clubs are going to be the perfect the perfect target. It could be that St Andrews, the golf course, is the perfect target, or I don't know, some golfing terminology like bunker or the rough or an albatross or an eagle or tee or any of these things, or a golf bag or a golf cart. Or look how many targets there are.
Tons.
Yeah, look how many targets there are. Look how many interest targets there are. So these are just stuff that Roy McIlroy is a golfing person and golfer. golfing person. Okay, it's been an
Or a
hour. I'm
golfer.
going to turn into a pumpkin. We'll be back next week. The takeaway message now is kids products. I believe that's the big opportunity that we're moving into now. Children's products, huge contest on Moteefe, white label stores, email remarketing. Now's the time. It's Q4. It's begun. Christmas is coming. Let's go. See you next week. We'll be live at 5 on Thursdays, British summertime still. Although it doesn't look like summertime, it is still British summertime because we refuse to accept reality. Let's go.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.